Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And welcome to Tuesday's edition of the DCEU Daily, and it's all about that shocking Batman casting. Jonah Hill as the Riddler. Yes, that's coming through now. I think they're still in negotiations with him and have been for quite some time. But the big one is Jeffrey Wright has been cast as Commissioner Gordon. I repeat, Jeffrey Wright has been cast as Commissioner Gordon. If you go over to Twitter, if you follow him on Twitter, he tweets Matt Reeves' kind of Happy Batman Day quote, in London. And he's got kind of the Inspector Clouseau kind of eye thing, yeah. So basically, he is the he's not the Batman. Of course he's not the Batman. Robert Pattinson's the Batman. Getting really, really confused really early. But yes, Jeffrey Wright has been cast as Commissioner Gordon in the Batman. And Jonah Hill, yes, he is. He will play the Riddler in the Batman, which is a very interesting thing because Jonah Hill is a very comedic actor. He's very talented. He's got a big name. So yes, all this is very exciting for me. I absolutely approve of the casting of Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. But there's lots of talking points. There's the elephant in the room of him being an actor of colour. We must discuss that. And also, because he's an actor of colour, for me, this says that the Batman cannot be based within the DCEU. He can't. We've already seen Commissioner Gordon in the DCEU, and he's not an actor of colour. He's a white actor. You can't culturally swap people within the same universe, especially when Justice League was only a couple of years ago, nearly in November. So for me, Jeffrey Wright's casting. I know everyone's going to be talking about him being an actor of colour, and that's going to be the thing everyone's focusing on. But for me, because he's an actor of colour, for me that proves that this Batman movie is not set within the DCEU. And let's look at Matt Reeves' comments when he was trying to calm us all down and says, "What's going on, guys? Well, of course, Batman's set in the DC universe. The DC universe." He didn't say the DCEU. He didn't say the same world as BVS. He didn't say the same universe as Man of Steel or Justice League. He just said DC. So basically, he never did confirm that the Batman will be set in the same world as the DCEU. So I think that's pretty funny how he kind of sidetracked this. This film is not part of the DCEU. It can't be. It can't be. I'm sorry. You can't cast, right? You can't have 2 years ago cast an actor who's white, and then 2 years later say, well, this is a prequel in the same universe, but I'm going to cast an actor of colour. That doesn't make sense, does it? I'm not talking about any other reason for this. I'm not talking about political reasons. I'm talking about we've got a guy who looks a certain way, whose skin is a certain colour, and then we're looking at another guy now who's been cast apparently in the same universe, but now he's an actor of colour. Now, what this absolutely proves is that the Batman is not set within the DCEU. Now that is very interesting, and that's very exciting, and it really does create new potential because this means Robert Pattinson's Batman isn't Ben Affleck, which means Ben Affleck's Batman is still the DCEU Batman, right? Right? I know he probably will never play him again, and we'll never see him again, but what happens to that Batman? We've still got a DCEU, we've still got we've still had Shazam, we've still had Aquaman since, so we're going to get Birds of Prey, unless they say that's not set within the DCEU. Hey, anything's possible with that film. Anything's possible. So let's talk about, and I want to talk about Jonah Hill as well, because Jonah Hill's potential casting is very, very exciting. But I want to talk about Jeffrey Wright. As I say, I absolutely approve of Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. It's a great piece of casting. Just like when I face down the right-wingers and the racists about Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne had proved to be a fantastic actor for his whole career. We should have been getting on our knees kissing Lawrence Fishburne's feet when he was cast as Perry White. Not saying, oh no, look, we've never had a person of colour play Perry White before. That is an irrelevant, mute point when you've got royalty. He's royalty. Lawrence Fishburne is royalty. Go and watch him in Deep Cover. Go and watch him in The Matrix and the umpteen other roles he's played. There would be no better actor to play Perry White. And Jeffrey Wright is a great actor and will do a great job as Commissioner Gordon. And quite frankly, I personally don't give a shit about the colour of his skin. But now I'm going to make a point and I'm going to draw a line under Jeffrey Wright. Hollywood talk about representation and equality, but any business or any group of people who talk about that would be creating brand new exciting roles for people of colour, minorities and women. But they're not doing that. They're not creating brand new roles for those people in those groups, sadly, which means they don't care about representation and equality. What they're doing by scrubbing out white roles and male roles and replacing them with women, people of colour and minorities, they're doing it for one reason and one reason only. One reason is revenge, to say, well, all those years ago, white men took all the roles, white women took all the roles, now we're here, we're going to take your roles. That's fair. No, that's not fair because you're hiding under the mask of equality and representation. So why do they actually really do this? They want you to be outraged. They want us to be doing videos like this. Ooh, it's not right. It's out of order. Oh! We look like idiots. We look like idiots, unintelligent idiots. If you are not happy with what's going on within the entertainment community, the virtue signalling, we saw it in the Emmys the other night as well, didn't we? Again, Michelle Williams' speech. She's doing well since The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, since The Dark Knight, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to say anything more about that, but she's doing very well for herself, isn't she? Doesn't seem to really be missing. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything else, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, right, so there's a lot of virtue signalling. The casting of Jeffrey Wright is just a tip of the iceberg. But, as I say, I like Jeffrey Wright. I think he is going to be a great Commissioner Gordon. But we have to spread this out to the other side. So, at the end of the day, if this upsets you, if this triggers you, don't go screaming about it. They're only going to call you a racist. You wanna do something about it? Don't watch the product. Don't watch the content. Don't. You've got copies of Burton's Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, the Dark Knight trilogy. All those where you're probably quite happy with who Commissioner Gordon is, right? If you're not happy with Jeffrey Wright, and I am, by the way, so I'll be supporting this movie, you know. I'm supporting DC films. I love DC films. I love DC. I'm excited by this casting. And I'm excited about the casting of Jonah Hill, potential casting of Jonah Hill as the Riddler. So, basically, that's my opinion. That's what they want. They're doing it to trigger you. Everything is done for a reason, because the fuss you make draws more of a light over the film and it gets some more attention. It's free publicity. So they don't care about representation. They don't care about equality because on a whole, and I'm just holding the casting of Jeffrey Wright as an example, but I'm just telling you, if they did care, my opinion, this is my opinion, I'm not telling you, but my opinion is, if they did care about representation and equality, they will be creating brand new exciting roles for people of colour, women and minorities, and they're not interested in doing that. But if they scrub out roles and replace people with other people, then people get triggered, then people get angry, then it gets toxic. I'm not going to get toxic. I'm going to either decide to watch something or not watch something. If they do something I don't like, this entertainment industry, right? If they do something I don't like, I don't have to scream about it. I just don't have to put money in their wallet. And ultimately, that's going to hurt them the most. So congratulations to Jeffrey Wright. It's a great role for him, and he's going to be awesome. Now, let's talk about Jonah Hill as the Riddler. Well, Jonah Hill as the Riddler. I never saw that coming, but it's a great piece of, as I say, potential casting, because they're still negotiating over money, and this guy wants a lot of money. In fact, this guy wants more money than Robert Pattinson is getting, but Robert Pattinson has a name, he's a respectable actor, but he can't command the money. But Robert Pattinson's about the art and not the money. So that's the difference between the two. But this is really exciting because when they do give him what he wants, he will do a great job as the Riddler. You know, what Matt Reeves is creating here is very intriguing because of what we've already discussed. That basically this can't be within the DCEU. We've spoken about Jeffrey Wright tirelessly, haven't we? We've spoken about how can he and the Commissioner Gordon we saw in Justice League be the same person? Well, they can't be. So the Batman is part of another universe. It's absolutely obvious, but I want to know what you think. What do you think, everyone? Are you excited about the casting of Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon? Are you excited about Jonah Hill playing the Riddler? I think Jonah Hill's going to do a great job. I love the Riddler, and it's about time we had him back on the big screen.